All right. Hello, everybody. Baldy here with Reactions with Baldy. I'm sorry that it has been so long since I have done a video on my channel. I'm figuring things out um, on what I can post, what videos I can do and not get copyright strikes. But that's really, right now, neither here nor there. I'm sure, as we all know, what happened on Wednesday to Charlie Kirk. It's just so senseless and so tragic and cowardice. For somebody to take anyone's life because they don't like his opinion. I I don't even know. Charlie Kirk, I have watched so many of his videos over the years, and every time I watched one of his videos, I just felt this joy that somebody like Charlie Kirk was out there and he just wanted to talk. Literally, he was a very Christian man, as am I. He believed in his faith, it's the same faith that I am, and the truth that the Bible and that God speaks of. And he just wanted to talk. He created Turning Point USA when he was very young because he wanted to go out there and just talk and listen to the other side and debate with them, but respectfully and honorably, and maybe spark some truth into them and help them find a way. He listened to other people's views and opinions with total respect. He let them talk, and then he would talk, and he would give them the truth. And he did it with such compassion and such love. He never had hate for anybody. Even when people hated him, he had no hate for them. He just wanted to talk. And because some coward, didn't like his views and opinions and had such hate for him, they decided to end his life in front of everybody, in front of thousands of people, and I knew this was going to be a hard video. I've been debating on doing this ever since it happened because we're all at a point right now where we can't be silent anymore. Charlie Kirk once said something so impactful and so true, and even more right now than ever. He said the reason that he goes out to these campuses and talks and debates with people on the other side, the left, and listens to their opinions and debates with them is because when you're silent and you don't talk to the other side, to people, that is why violence happens. Because everybody's just keeping silent and nobody talks about it. And in this society, you always hear people say, don't talk about politics, don't talk about religion. Well, I think it's about time that we do. Because when we don't, like he said, that's when violence happens. And this happened to him while he was doing it because of some coward, somebody that was afraid of what his views were. Couldn't handle it. So like a coward, they took him out. And now there's people on the other side that have no heart, no compassion, nothing but hate, that are celebrating what happened to him. And that just sickens me to the core. This whole thing just sickens me to the core. We have got to not be silent anymore. And we won't do it violently and hatefully like other people do. We're not going to go out and burn cities and destroy neighborhoods and burn down places of business. No, that's not us. That's not what we do. We are peaceful people. But we have been taken to our limit. And we will not go out and destroy things because of this. We will. That's not what we do. That's not who we are. We are peaceful people. But I will tell you this. When this happened, and because this happened, Charlie's work, Turning Point USA's work, Charlie's work, his soul and his faith, and what he strived to do for this country and beyond, instantly, has created this ripple where everybody's just like, okay, no, that's it. Like I said, we do not go out and fight violence with violence. That is not how you do things, and that is not how we do things. His work and what he believed in and his passion for his faith, for the same faith that me and millions of other people like him believe in, and his hope for his country to be better, has created this he already had a huge following. What he was doing was already huge, and it's created this effect. And as tragic as it is what happened to him, because it is tragic, obviously, and awful and sad. I mean, I am so heartbroken for him and his family, and his kids will never get to know him, but they will know who he was. They just won't get to know, and that's so sad to me. But I will tell you this, as awful and tragic and cowardice as this act was, and I know it's hard. I mean, it's hard for me to think about it, to know, but there is joy in this, guys. Not, his work is has had this massive effect on people, on me. You know, I obviously, of course, I did not know Charlie Kirk personally, and I've never met him, and I wish I could have, really wish I could have one day in my life met him. And, you know, when my time comes, I hope that in heaven I meet him and I will personally thank him. But right now, people are waking up. We should have woke up a long time ago. A lot of us have been, like Charlie. But right now, I mean, I feel like I said, I've never met him personally, but I feel like I have lost a dear friend because I watched him for years and I always felt such joy and such comfort that Charlie Kirk was out there and just wanted to talk and listen and debate respectfully and peacefully with other people and listen to what they had to say. And then maybe, you know, he had millions and millions of people that loved him because he was respectful. And he was so passionate and compassionate toward his people. He just wanted people to have the same joy that he had and the same hope that he had. And I feel like I've lost a dear friend, even though I never met him. And I'm angry. And I'm not angry in a bad way. It is not an anger that would cause me to do anything drastic. It is an anger where I can no longer keep silent. And I will speak up for what I believe in and what I know is true. And I'm going on and on. But I thought I would react to this video. This is for you, Charlie. Oh, God. Charlie Kirk schools college atheists with harsh truth about America. Alright, here we go.
Folks, we're in a spiritual battle. Right now, all across the globe, our Christian brothers and sisters are being targeted because they stand firm in their faith in Jesus Christ. God's word calls us to remember them. We've got to stand with those heroes of the faith. In the powerful book, When Faith is Forbidden, Todd Nettleton and the Voice of the Martyrs bring you 40 gripping true stories of believers who said yes to Christ, even when it cost them everything, freedom, family, and even their lives. As a special gift to my...
Oh my goodness. That statement right there. You know, Charlie Kirk is now a martyr. And that statement right there that because of what they believed in, because they spoke up and stood up for the truth and for God, it cost them everything, including their lives. And that's exactly, sadly, what happened to him. And so true and just so sad. Okay,
My listeners, you can get a free copy. Just head on over to vom.org/Charlie or click on the link below.
Sorry, it's first time. A little nervous. All right, so I have a friend named Thomas Sheedy. He is the founder of an organization called Atheist for Liberty. He is openly conservative, but he's mostly interested in atheist activism and normalizing atheism in all sects, including the conservative movement. He seems to be under the impression that a lot of conservatives, including you, are more hesitant to work with atheist organizations. Is there any truth to that?
If you are sleeping in a position like this, you are wrecking your body and your breathing. Chronic neck pain happens when your cervical spine is
Yes and no. I mean, if you're an atheist and you...
Hold on, real quick. Just, again, guys, I'm doing this all by myself. I don't have any editors or anything like that. So if there's ads in this, I will do my best to skip over that. I don't know. I could try to edit it out, but I'm just going to leave it in.
Be part of the conservative movement, go ahead, but you must be an honest atheist and acknowledge that morality is definitionally subjective without a belief in God. That you cannot be an atheist and believe in objective morality. It is an impossibility. And true atheists will acknowledge this. At some point, you have an ought claim. Well, things ought to be a certain way. We as Christians, or we that believe in the divine, we have is claims, that murder is wrong. Whereas an atheist will say, well, murder ought to be wrong. Because you can't have an objective definition if there is not a divine eternal power over you. So look, if an atheist wants to fight alongside of us to end abortion or to try and end the massacring of our kids, that's called gender affirming care, or if an atheist wants to march alongside of us to say no men and female sports, they're more than welcome to be able to do that. But Atheists for Liberty is an interesting phrase because I don't believe you can have liberty without God, because liberty is not man's idea, it is God's idea. That's just my...
Wow. That is so true. Liberty is something that God created. That is something... Liberation from the tyranny of, I'll just let him speak. He does it better than I do, so I will just let him talk.
My own personal belief, and it's also the belief of everything that built this nation. But yes, I know a lot of good atheists. The question, though, is how do you know they're good? It's because you're appealing to a moral authority above just the secular material realm, one that is transcendent, we would believe, given by God.
Well, I don't believe in objective morality. I do know there are plenty of atheists who are moral objectivists.
Are you an atheist? Sorry to interrupt. But...
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. So let me just... Can I ask you a question? And I know this is your first time at the mic, so I'm just going to try to be tender in doing this.
Okay, appreciate that.
Okay, do you see what I mean? How respectful he is towards people on the other... This is an atheist conservative, which is, good. But I don't know how to explain it. So an atheist conservative, they believe in, that's kind of like an oxymoron to me, because, and I'm not calling the guy a moron, okay? It's an actual word, because you're saying you're a conservative. Well, a conservative not only has beliefs and the way that this country is founded and what it should be like, but they also have beliefs and values that are of Christianity. So you cannot, I'm not saying you can't be a Republican or a conservative and not, I'm not saying don't be one. I'm saying, okay, let me try to clarify what my thoughts are. It's hard because of everything that just happened to Charlie is still fresh in all our minds. But to me, an atheist is somebody that does not believe in God. But from experience and from what I have learned and known and realized, from what I can hear them talk, it is a choice that they make. And it's almost like they know there's a God, but they choose not to believe in it. So they say there isn't a God. And a Republican or / conservative is somebody that has values and opinions and beliefs that this country was founded on Christianity. And our laws and our morals are all based and founded in Christianity and the beliefs that God is our creator, and that, like, you take the laws of America, you know, like he said, like, murder is wrong, and stealing is wrong. It's based on the Bible and the Ten Commandments. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not steal. These beliefs, these core values of what we believe and we follow as Christians and as Republicans and conservatives, we base that, and we want our country to be following that. So to me, for someone to say you're an atheist conservative is kind of an oxymoron, but I'm not. I'm pretty sure that's the right word. If I'm not, put it in the comments. By the way, guys, please keep the comments respectful. No hate comments. There's no need for that here. This is a peaceful channel. But anyway, I'm sorry. I just had to say that.
You don't believe in objective morality, right?
I personally don't.
Okay. Was the Holocaust objectively wrong?
Objectively, no, but it would have been better if it didn't happen because most people wouldn't want that to happen.
So that's where we...
What?
That's where we are on different planets. And that's okay. I'm not trying to make fun of you. I'm trying to be graceful in the way that we're going about this. Sure. Do you think Hitler was objectively evil?
No, because it's subjective.
What? I let him go.
But I just hope all of you guys understand he's being an honest atheist, to your credit.
Yeah.
Because as an atheist, you're not allowed to say anything is objectively right or wrong. I come from a worldview that when you butcher 6 million people, that is objectively wrong, no matter what. And it's very important. It's a very important truth claim, because when you do not have objective truth anchoring your society, then it becomes a power struggle. If you do not have truth, then power will reign. Whoever can get the most amount of power then ends up having the most amount of say over society. We believe what is objectively right, true, good, and beautiful should be transcendent over society. Your thoughts?
So do you believe objective morality specifically comes from the Bible?
Yes and no. It's in nature, and the Bible explains nature. So objective morality can be discovered in many different cultures and societies, pointing towards what we believe is the ultimate objective truth, Jesus Christ.
Yes.
C.S. Lewis explained this the best in his book Abolition of Man, which is that almost every religion talks about a certain way to live, a Tao, or a path that we should be on. And so more simply than just the Bible, we believe in what the founders believed, which is an ethical monotheism. That there is one God, he has a general way that he wants you to live. For example, murdering is bad, kidnapping is wrong, defense of the innocent, and we should do our best to try to live alongside of that path.
Okay, well, I think those are very interesting examples. You bring up the founders, you bring up Hitler, but Hitler was a self-proclaimed Catholic, and he called Nazism a Christian movement.
Yeah, I would be careful saying that. He was not. That's okay.
He called himself a Catholic. He specifically said in 1927, our movement is Christian.
Okay, let me be respectful on this and give my thoughts on what he just said. Alright, just because somebody says they're Christian or Catholic or whatever, honestly, anybody could say that, especially if they are trying to justify what they are doing and twisting the truth of the Bible and saying that what Hitler did was based on Catholic beliefs. That is absolutely, without a doubt, false. Just because somebody says they're a Christian, it's like the Bible says, you will know them by their fruits. And you look at history and what Hitler did in the Holocaust. anybody with eyes can see that what he did is not a Christian thing to do. To murder thousands upon thousands of Jewish people, and by the way, not just Jewish people, people that were like handicapped people or mentally ill people or black people, just anybody that did not fit his whatever you want to call it, the blonde hair, blue eyed type of thing. That is not what a Christian does. That is not what a conservative Republican does. Anyway, let's just let him go.
They had on the belt buckles God on our side.
Yeah,
They had to swear to the Almighty God. Atheists were not trusted to be in the SS.
Even if I grant you that, despite the fact that he killed a lot of pastors and priests, and there, of course, you can pervert things in the name of God. No one denounces that. Just as a side note, though, far more people died under the banner of atheism than Christianity in the 20th century. Mao was an atheist. Stalin was an atheist. Pol Pot was an atheist. Believing in no God actually led to the destruction and the murder of well over 100 million people. And that's fine. So, again, if atheists want to come alongside us as conservatives and fight for what is good, that is great. But I will never acknowledge that atheists can tell me what is objectively good. They can only give me a preference. They cannot tell me what is right. And preferences eventually will lead you towards moral and societal decline.
That is so true, guys. Or somebody that doesn't believe in God tries to tell somebody that does that something is wrong or right when they have no objective point. They don't, you know what I'm saying? So, like, your atheist comes up to me and says, what you're doing is wrong. How can they come up to you and say that that's wrong when they have no objectivity of what is right and wrong? I'm not saying that anybody is perfect, because none of us are. We are all imperfect. And we are all sinners. But when somebody, and nothing against this person that is an atheist, okay? That is his decision. Hopefully, somehow, Charlie or somebody in his life or God intervenes with them in some way to where he decides that God is real and he should follow God. But when somebody that doesn't believe in God, and God is just, and God has set for us, upon us, what is wrong and right, and he's put it on our heart, what is wrong and right, and what we should follow and what we shouldn't follow. When that happens, and somebody says that doesn't believe in God points to us and says, well, that's wrong. If you don't know what's wrong or right, because you're an atheist, then how can you tell somebody that believes in God that what they're saying is wrong? That just really hit home with me, yeah.
So I think you just listed a bunch of communists, and it's worth acknowledging the vast majority of atheists are not communists, just like the vast majority of Christians are not theocrats who don't support the divine right. It's also worth acknowledging that the founders were actually inspired by Enlightenment values, not by the Bible. America was founded as a secular nation. We were the first, quote-unquote, godless constitution.
Again, I've done this so many times, so I don't know if we want to waste our time doing this, but 55 out of 56 of the signers of the Declaration were Bible-believing, church-attending Christians. 9 out of 13 of the states at the time of ratification required a declaration of faith in order for you to serve in the states. Our birth certificate, which is the Mayflower Compact, said explicitly, we are here to spread Christianity throughout the land. It was the first great revival that led to the American Revolution of Jonathan Edwards and Jonathan Mayhew and George Whitefield that preached all across the eastern seaboard. John Adams famously said the Constitution is written solely for a moral and religious people. It's wholly inadequate for the people of any other. We were a Christian nation that was able to embrace the idea of a free society. God is mentioned 4 times in the Declaration of Independence.
Yep.
Not only that, Jesus Christ is mentioned in the Declaration of Independence,
Yep.
where it says we appeal to the divine judge of the universe, which of course is a direct appeal to Jesus in the book of Revelation.
Yep.
Yes, there were rationalist Enlightenment values that informed some of the founders, but it irrefutably was a Christian nation. Maryland was Catholic. Pennsylvania was Quaker. Almost every state had their own specific type of Christian preference. The idea of an atheist or not believing in any God was an idea that was so foreign to the founders. Even Thomas Jefferson, the great deist, he revered the Bible, albeit with some significant edits. However, the idea of believing in no cosmological or no axiological or no teleological or no ontological being would be a concept that our founding fathers would not just find foreign, they would find it extraordinarily dangerous. Why? Because the French Revolution was happening simultaneously as the American Revolution, which was explicitly atheist. They actually recreated their own gods and they said, we are going to appeal to what? The God of reason. And this is my final contention, is that when I talk to atheists, the French Revolution is a great example. They literally tried to change the Gregorian calendar to a 10-day week. They went and imprisoned people of faith. They put priests in jail, all these different sorts of things. They said, we are going to appeal to the God of reason. Well, how did that work out? It worked out with the guillotine and the slaughter of tens of thousands of people. The French Revolution was one of the greatest disasters in human recorded history. Contrast that with the American Revolution. Why did the American Revolution create the greatest nation ever to exist in the history of the world? And the French Revolution resulted in a lot of blood and even the killing of their own once leader, Maximilien Robespierre. It's because we were anchored on Christian ideas. If you are not anchored on Christian ideas, then don't be surprised when all of a sudden there is no fruit to the harvest that you're trying to create. Thank you for your time. I want to try to get to the next question. Thank you.
Wow. Yeah. I tell you what, Charlie Kirk was, for somebody like him who did not go to college, his level of knowledge and the way he can articulate, he's so articulative. He was so articulative. And the way he can respectfully talk to these people and directly make them understand the point that he is coming from and how their point, even if it's a half-truth, we'll say, like him being a conservative atheist, Charlie's knowledge that he had was so, to me, it's mind-blowing. It really is, because his knowledge of the Bible and of political and world views and his knowledge of the absolute truth is so refreshing, and I just find such joy. Man, I can't believe he's gone. I just find so much joy in it, because here's what I see, and I've seen for years, and it's always blown my mind. And again, guys, like I said in the beginning, I can't be silent anymore. And I will most likely get, hate comments or whatever. I will not stand for hate comments. I am here on my channel. This is a peaceful channel. This is a channel for a place to go where you can. This is a peaceful channel, okay? I will just put it that way. But what I'm saying is, what I saw and I've seen in Charlie for years reminds me of something that I've read in the Bible and known in the Bible and seen and known in myself and other Christians, is what God said to Moses when Moses said, "Why me, Lord? I can barely speak." And God told him, "I will put the words in your mouth. I will speak for you. I will give you the courage and the knowledge and the truth to speak." And I see that so much in Charlie. I can't believe he's gone. I didn't even know him, but I feel like I lost a really good friend. But I see that in Charlie. His courage and his knowledge to speak the truth, and the words and his knowledge that he speaks to these people with. I just see God used him so, and I hear that a lot, the word used, and I know that God does that, but I just don't like the word used. Even though God does use us, it's not in a bad or negative way ever, because he's God. I see God working, he worked through Charlie. God gave Charlie the words to say and the courage to say these things, to stand up for the truth, to stand up for what's right, to stand up for Jesus, our Savior. And so beautiful, and just so much joy in somebody like Charlie Kirk. And to know that some coward, because they didn't like what he was saying and didn't like his views and was filled with such hate, took it upon himself to take Charlie's life. Because you didn't like what he said? And that's what Charlie stood for. That's why he went out and to these campuses and did these debates. Because he wanted to talk. That's all he wanted to do. He just wanted to talk respectfully and listen respectfully to what they had to say. And he wanted to respectfully and even honorably share the joy he had for Jesus, for our Savior, and for God, and the truth. And I just can't believe he's gone. Oh God. I can't be silent anymore. I couldn't even sleep last night because I'm angry in a good way. I'm angry because of what happened to him. And I'm angry at these people that are celebrating what happened to him. And I won't be silent anymore. We can't be silent anymore. We must be strong. And like I said in the beginning, we are not people that go out and riot and burn down buildings and do violence. You cannot fight violence with violence. That's not doing anything. Except for making everything worse. And that is not what we do. This is not. We will. I knew this was going to be hard, but there is a movement going on right now. And because of what Charlie did, everything he stood for, everything he strived for, the truth and God's truth and everything that he was trying to do and did has immediately, because of what happened to him, become so much bigger. And now Charlie is a martyr. And because of what happened, people are rising up and waking up. And people are feeling this. I myself have felt this tug, this. So let me explain, and then I will end it. So, as I've said before, I am a Christian. I am also a conservative Republican. And for years, alright, so I grew up and was raised a Catholic, and I've always believed and accepted Jesus as my Savior, and I always will. Always. And as I grew older, and it's kind of hard to say. It's really hard to say, but it's true. For the longest time, I wasn't going to church. And my family has prayed for me to return to church. They have tried. And there's always been this battle in my mind where it's like one side, it's like, well, you don't need to go to church. You can do that at home. And, just thoughts like that. And because of what happened to Charlie, and because I have watched Charlie and pretty much followed him in a good way, not a creepy way, if anybody's thinking that word is creepy. Just, And because of what happened to him, immediately in my mind, that battle just like what's going is pretty strong. And then like a snap of a finger, I just realized, why am I fighting this? Why am I fighting these thoughts in my head of whether to go to church or not? And that's what I realized. I'm like, if there are negative thoughts in my mind that tell me you don't need to go to church, I realized instantly, I was like, I've been fighting that for years. And the truth is, the good side, God's side, is the one that says, yes, go to church, be with people that have the same beliefs that you have, and come to my house, come to God's house, and pray with them, and worship me. And I've never strayed so far from God that I wasn't going to church. And this Saturday, more appropriately, I immediately after, because of what happened to Charlie, I texted my brother and I said, hey, I want to go to church with you. And I did, and I never felt so much joy in my life, guys. Sadness still because of what happened to him, but joy that I was in church and I was, praying for Charlie and his family. I can't even imagine what his poor wife and children are going through, but I felt such joy, and I will continue to go to church. And I can say without a doubt that even though my family, my brother's prayers were answered, but I could say without a doubt that because of what happened to Charlie, and because I watched Charlie and listened to him and how compassionate he was about standing up for what he believes in and what I believe in, that is what made my final decision to go to church and no longer have a battle with these negative thoughts of, well, you don't need to go to church. You can do that anywhere. That's what I think about that, and I'm like, why was I even battling that at all? But it's because of Charlie that I realized it's God telling you to go to church. And the devil is the one that's saying, no, you don't need to go to church. And I will no longer will I listen to those negative thoughts. I will go to church from now on every Sunday. I just felt the need to say that. Thank you guys so much. Please like and subscribe to my channel. I'm sorry that it's been so long. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please, no negative comments, guys. Nothing but positivity and prayers for Charlie and his family, please. And if you liked this video, please click that like button. Subscribe to my channel. As I said, I'm figuring things out. There will be more to come. I'm doing this all by myself, guys, so I'm trying to figure out, I'm learning how to edit things. This video will not be edited. But please, guys, just stay positive and stay strong. And never let people tell you what you can and cannot believe in. Evil will never win. In the end, it will never win. Charlie is with Jesus right now, and he is a martyr, and his movement, his beliefs, and everything he worked for is much stronger now and bigger than ever before. So thank you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And my name is Baldy, and I will see you guys later. Bye.